Hi, welcome to this podcast on how to write the perfect article. This is for the GCSE English writing exam, the non-fiction texts. So I've done other videos on letters, reviews, speeches and reports. This one, like I say, is on the article. So like I say, here are all the different kinds of non-fiction texts you can get in the exam, and this video is looking at the article. So here's a typical question. Here's a question we're going to be looking at for this video. A travel magazine is asked for articles about places that offer a good day out. Write an article from the magazine about the place of your choice. You could choose one of the following: a town or city, a place in the countryside, a place at the seaside, and it's out of 20 marks. I've decided to do it on Bournemouth just because that's the town that I live in and my students live in. But like it says in the exam question, you could do whatever you wanted to do. You could do Hawaii, you could do London, you could do Bournemouth, you could do Leeds, you could do Newcastle, you could do Las Vegas. It's probably a bit of a tip, probably do something that you know quite well. So don't make a lot of stuff up. Try to do an area that you know well. So what is an article, first of all, we need to know? It's a piece of writing included in a newspaper or magazine. It's not the headline news, but a discussion on a topical issue, often with a particular point of view. So if we look back at the question, our article is not going to be front page news. It's about somewhere that offers a good day out. So it's not headline news, it's just something that we can offer an opinion on. So an article is written to inform, persuade and entertain the reader. So this question, you're going to try and persuade the person to go wherever you choose as a day out. So I would, in my article, try to persuade people to go to Bournemouth. And your article will be for a teenage magazine. 95% of the exam questions you might get, you are aiming at a teenage audience, so people your own age. So if you get a speech will probably be for people your own age. If you get a review, it will be for a teenage magazine. So that will alter the kind of language you're going to use in a teenage magazine. That doesn't mean that you're going to use text speak or anything like that. You're still going to use correct English, but it's probably going to be a bit more informal than if you were writing for a broadsheet newspaper. Okay, so just remember, you may hold any opinion you like on a topic, but you should be convincing in your writing. Like I say, you're trying to persuade the reader to agree with you. And if you do choose a bigger town, so if you choose London or New York, for example, you've got to select what you want to say carefully. You cannot hope to cover everything. So, for example, if you're writing an article about a major city like London or New York, there's no way you're going to get everything about New York or London in a page and a half. So just make sure you pick the best bits. Okay, so here's the question again. You've got to write an article for a travel magazine on places that offer a good day out. Okay, so the things about Bournemouth that I'm going to choose are, I'm going to talk about the beach at Bournemouth. I'm going to talk about the Bournemouth Air Festival. And I'm going to talk about Bournemouth's Oceanarium. It's a big aquarium. So remember, in an article like this, or a question like this, you're probably going to talk about 3 things in detail, or maybe 4 things in detail. So if you're really struggling, maybe talk about 4 things, but it's better to talk about 3 things in detail than it is to write 6 things in not any great depth. Okay, so how are we going to structure our article? So we're going to have a catchy heading, we're going to have a little introduction, then we're going to have 3 or 4 central paragraphs where we're going to talk about the good things to do with our Bournemouth. And we're going to have a little short conclusion in our article. So remember, 1 point per paragraph. So say, for example, I'm talking about Bournemouth Beach. I'm going to write 4 or 5 sentences on that. I'm not going to do Bournemouth Beach, the Air Festival and the Oceanarium all in 1 paragraph, because that will be cluttered. I won't be going into enough detail. So it's 1 point per paragraph. Don't put all your points in one big chunk because you'll get marked down for that. Okay, so how are we going to structure our article? So like I said, catchy title with a little catchy introduction. We're going to have subheadings. So for my things I'm talking about is beach, the Air Festival and the subheadings, and the Oceanarium. I'm not just putting beach, Air Festival, Oceanarium. I try to come up with little catchy headings. So gorgeous golden beaches, the sky's the limit for the Air Festival, and dive into the Oceanarium. So the sky's the limit is a little play on words because it's to do with planes, and dive in is a little play on words because we're talking about fish and things in the ocean, and gorgeous golden beaches uses alliteration. So then my first central paragraph is on the beaches, my second one is on the air festival, and my third one is on the oceanarium, and then I've got a little catchy little ending. Okay, so if I'm doing my plan, because remember you should do a plan for each document, probably get a mark for it. All the plan is going to do is 1 or 2 minutes, and it's just going to show the examiner that I'm going to structure my answer. So my plan is catchy title and catchy subheadings, little introduction, paragraph on beaches, paragraph on the air festival, paragraph on oceanarium, and then I'm going to do a catchy little ending that's going to try and persuade the reader, leave them on an interesting, lively expression. Okay, so there's my article. So for you, you should be trying to write 2 pages on your pen and on your paper. So this would probably be the amount you would have to write, maybe a little bit more. So we're just going to go through this article. If you want to read it yourself, it's on www.bpcenglish.wordpress.com, or you can read it through the screen, and I will read it through now. So pause or listen to me reading it through. Want a great day out? Visit Bournemouth today. Sand, sea and one of the sunniest spots in England, Bournemouth is the hippest place to visit in 2017. Recently voted the country's best coastal resort by the British public, this top town has plenty to offer. From hip boutiques and surfing to award-winning gardens and fine dining. Let's get straight to the point. You need to visit Bournemouth today. Gorgeous golden beaches. Welcome to 7 miles of award-winning beaches. Bournemouth would not be the world-class tourist resort that it is without its heavenly golden sands. Whether it's chilling on a deck chair, enjoying tasty food or just admiring miles of breathtaking coastline, Bournemouth Beach is the ideal location whatever the weather or time of year. Every section of Bournemouth Beach offers a different experience, so why not try out one of the many superb water sports or enjoy plenty of attractions at pier approach. There is a bit of the beach with your name on it. The sky's the limit. In August, it's the annual Bournemouth Air Festival, the biggest event of its kind in the world. It's perfect for any age and is the ideal opportunity to watch planes, jets and displays in the sky. Offering 4 days of fantastic flying displays, this free event is perfect for everyone. Last year, more than 1.4 million visitors poured into the town during the festival, packing the cliff top, promenade and beach for prime viewing positions for displays that range from supersonic to super adventurous. More than 7 million have visited to see the festival, and it is recently awarded gold by Visit England Awards for Excellence. Don't let this event fly away without seeing it. Dive into the oceanarium. Unmissable and slap bang on the seafront, this great aquarium houses an impressive array of marine life from colourful tropical angelfish to giant turtles. The vast Great Barrier Reef tank is particularly impressive, with a walk-through tunnel where you can gaze at turtles, sharks and stingrays swimming above your head. Take an underwater adventure around the waters of the world and come face to face with hundreds of awesome creatures. Amazingly, these are just a few of the attractions in bustling Bournemouth. Want more info? Check the Bournemouth Tourism website or just visit yourselves today. Okay, so there's the article structure. So if we look at our article based within that structure, we've got our catchy title, Want a Great Day Out, Visit Bournemouth Today. So I'm going to talk about the title later. Then I've got a catchy little intro. So I've used alliteration to start it off. I've done a little 3 or 4 sentences just summarising the main points about Bournemouth and what you can see there. Then I've done my catchy little subheading, and then all I've done on the rest is done 4 or 5 sentences on each of the things I'm talking about: beaches, air festival and oceanarium, and in them I've used writing devices and techniques like DAFOREST, which I'll talk about later. But basically in each one I've written 4 or 5 sentences trying to sell Bournemouth, or that part of Bournemouth, to the reader and say why it's so great. And then I've done a catchy little intro at the end by saying, rhetorical question, want more info? Check the Bournemouth Tourism website or just visit yourselves today. So I've used direct address to try and convince the reader to go, and I'll talk about that later. Okay, so a lot of people struggle with how to start an article or how to start any piece of writing. So the first thing is you've got to come up with a catchy title. You probably won't get high marks or top marks if I was writing an article on Bournemouth and you just put Bournemouth. So you've got to try to make it interesting or lively in some way. So let's look at a couple of examples. So one thing you can do is think about what the question is asking and then see if you can think of something interesting. And then if you want to use DAFOREST, so alliteration or direct address or rhetorical question, that is really going to help you. So the one I chose in the end was, want a great day out, visit Bournemouth today. So what I've done there is, first of all, I've used a rhetorical question to make the reader seem interested, catch the reader's attention. But what I've also done is I've used the exam question to help me. So the exam question says, a travel magazine has asked for articles about places that offer a good day out, and my rhetorical question is, want a great day out. So I've used the exam question there to help me. So the rhetorical question is basically taken word for word from the exam paper, and then I put visit Bournemouth today, where it's almost like an imperative. It's almost me as the writer ordering the reader to visit Bournemouth. And then if you another one you could have chosen, which I didn't think was as good, is just alliteration. So beautiful Bournemouth, the alliterative of the B's of beautiful Bournemouth, again makes it catchy, would catch the reader's eye. Okay, in this case, in my article, you don't have to have subheadings, but I'm trying to use subheadings as well to catch the reader's attention. And my subheadings will be on the 3 central paragraphs, so the beaches, the air festival, and the oceanarium. So my first one was gorgeous golden beaches, so alliteration of gorgeous and golden. Then I've done a little play on the words because I'm talking about the air and planes, so the sky's the limit is an expression, so I've used that one. And my last one is about the oceanarium and the animals, the fishes, and I put dive in as in dive into water, into the ocean. So dive into the ocean, dive into the oceanarium. So it's not the most brilliant thing in the world, but it's a catchy little phrase that might make the reader want to read on. Okay, so how are we going to, we've done our subheadings and we've done our title, but what we're going to put in our intro. So remember again, the question is, a travel magazine has asked for articles about places that offered a good day out. So here is my intro. Sand sea in one of the sunniest spots in England, Bournemouth is the hippest place to visit in 2017. Recently voted the country's best coastal resort by the British public, this top town has plenty to offer, from hip boutiques and surfing to award-winning gardens and fine dining. Let's get straight to the point, you need to visit Bournemouth today. So if we look at the first sentence, first of all, the first sentence is really important because that's the one that's going to catch the reader's eye. So first of all, I put sand, sea and sunniest spot. So I've used alliteration of the S. Okay. I've also said one of the sunniest spots in England, where I'm saying, well, if you are going to visit one beach resort, then Bournemouth would be the one to go to because it's one of the sunniest. And then I've also said Bournemouth's the hippest place to visit in 2017. So again, I've said it's the best place to visit in 2017, but I've also remembered that I'm writing for a teenage audience. So the use of the word hippest is aimed towards more of a teenage. If I was writing for pensioners or people who are retired, I'm probably not going to use the word hippest. So the hippest is going towards my audience. Okay, so the second sentence I've used a made up survey. I've made up an award. I've said that they voted the country's best coastal resort in the British public, so I could make that up. I've also used alliteration with top town, and again I've said that the surfing and the gardens are award-winning as well, so again persuading the reader it's a really good place to go to. And in my last sentence, because remember you only intro, you only need 2 or 3 or 4 sentences, I've put let's get straight to the point, you need to visit Bournemouth today. So the second part of the sentence, again I've used a direct address, speaking directly to the reader, and I'm almost telling them you need to go to Bournemouth, so that's going to persuade someone because it makes you think you're talking directly to the reader. But I've also used a phrase that I've used in my other videos, so my speech, my letter, my review. Let's get straight to the point, you need to visit Bournemouth today, and I've got a colon there. So first of all, it's a nice phrase, it's short, it gets to the point, we're not waffling, let's get straight to the point. But also the use of the colon is going to up my spelling, punctuation, accuracy and grammar grades. So try to use that phrase, let's get straight to the point, comma, then you don't need a capital, you need to visit Bournemouth today. Okay, so how are we going to impress the examiner to get top marks? So first of all, pretend to care. So what I mean by that is that I know that you don't really care about writing an article about a good day out for a student magazine. However, if you pretend to care for an hour for the whole of the writing exam, whatever questions you get, that will come across that you care. So if you pretend to care about a particular thing, your enthusiasm for that topic will come across and probably make your writing better. Okay, number 2, it's okay to cheat. Okay, so what I mean by that is you're not copying the person next to you. What I mean is that you can make up statistics, make up facts. So I said the beach and the dining and the gardens in Bournemouth were award-winning. So making up statistics is going to make my writing seem more factual and more believable, and in turn more persuasive. So for example, According to a recent survey, 36% of people said Ryan Gosling was their favourite actor. So I've totally made that up, but 36%, so a statistic, makes my writing sound more believable and more informative. And it's probably going to persuade the reader, and certainly going to get me higher marks from the examiner. Okay, number 3. Don't be afraid to be OTT. And how are we going to be over the top? Well, we're going to use DAFOREST. So remember, direct address is talking directly to the reader using we and you. Alliteration, a group of words beginning with the same letter. Facts and opinions, you know. Rhetorical question, any question in a piece of writing meant to get the attention of the reader. So emotive language, statistics, and rule of 3. So rule of 3 is used quite a lot in advertising, catches the reader's eye. So for example, Mars bar helps you work, rest, and play. Work 1, 2 rest, 3 play. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to come up with some DAFOREST. Even before I start my exam question, I'm going to come up with some DAFOREST that I'm going to use to get myself top grades. So for example, direct address, talking directly to the reader. You need to visit Bournemouth today. So the use of the word you makes it sound like I'm talking directly to the reader. Alliteration, from supersonic to super adventurous, so the repetition of the S sound again catches the reader's eye. Rhetorical question, want a great day out? So that's right at the top of my page. So want a great day out. It's going to ask the reader or make the reader want to carry on. Emotive language, so I could have just put it's good for any age or it's good for families, but perfect makes it sound like there's nothing better for people. Statistics, more than 7 million people have visited to see the festival. So if I just said there's a lot of people visited the festival, that's not as powerful as saying there's 7 million people. So statistics makes your writing more factual, makes it more informative. It just makes it a lot better. And rule of 3, ideal opportunity to watch planes, jets, and displays in the sky. So again, that makes your writing just a bit more catchier. Okay, so what I would do is I would spend 2 or 3 minutes in your hour exam and just do a quick little plan on the left and a quick DAFOREST plan. So in your DAFOREST plan, you might not be able to do all of them like me, but maybe if you just did 2 or 3 just to remind you to use DAFOREST, that is certainly going to up your grades. Okay, so if there's my article again, have a look at it if you've got it in front of you, or have a look on bbcenglish.wordpress.com, or even on the computer screen. Just see if you can pick out one DAFOREST for each of the things we've talked about. Okay, so one thing that should sort of come to you pretty quickly is that nearly all of your letter or all of your review or all of your speech or all of your article, whatever thing you're writing, nearly all of it should be DAFOREST. Okay, so in this screen here, blue is my emotive language. So I haven't just put it's a good place to go. I've said it's the hippest place to go. I haven't just said that it's a tourist resort. I've said it's a world-class tourist resort. I haven't just said the coastline is nice. I've said it's breathtaking. I haven't said that the seafront is nice. I've said it's unmissable. So all of these things are exaggerating it, making it sound better, trying to persuade the reader to go. Rhetorical questions, I would say you wouldn't want more than 3 in a couple of pages, but I've got want a great day out, question mark, why not try our attractions at peer approach, question mark, and want more info, question mark. So all of these are designed to make the reader want to carry on reading. Okay, so facts and statistics, I've got 7 miles of award-winning beaches, voted the best coastal resort, 7 million people visited, it's recently won an award. Okay, it's free, the event's free. So all of these things are making my writing more informative and trying to convince the reader that my article is really based on fact and that they should in fact go and visit Bournemouth. So power of 3, whether it's chilling on a deck chair, 1, enjoying tasty food, 2, admiring miles of coastline, 3, so that's power of 3. Then I've also got to watch planes, jets and displays in the sky. And I've also got in the aquarium, I've got walk through tunnel where you can gaze at turtles, sharks and stingrays. So again, 3 uses of power of 3 there. Alliteration, I've got quite a lot. I've got sand, sea, sunny. I've got gorgeous, golden. I've got 4 days of fantastic flying, supersonic to super adventurous. Sharks, stingray, swimming, bustling, Bournemouth. So again, I've got 5 or 6 examples of alliteration. It's going to make the writing flow a bit more for the reader, catch the reader's eye. And direct address, I've got visit Bournemouth today, you need to visit Bournemouth, there's a bit of beach with your name on it, don't let this event fly away, just visit yourself. So again, all the way through, not just at the start, not just at the end, all the way through, I'm getting the reader involved, making me think I'm speaking directly to them. Okay, so sentence starters. Okay, so we don't just want to start sentences with the or a or I. We want to make them interesting. Again, we're not going to do this all the way through, but we're going to do it a bit. So one way you can make your sentences interesting is by starting with adjectives. So not just the boy stared at his exam, but the bored and confused the boy stared at his exam. Yeah. Not just the man went back into the house, but creepy and dark the man went back into his house. So if you just said the man went back into the house, you're not really getting a lot of information, but creepy and dark gives it a more sinister vibe. Okay, starting with ing, so sprint into the line, Usain Bolt won the gold. Okay, so again, it's a lot more interesting than just saying Usain Bolt won the gold. Okay, another way, starting with an ly word. So for example, happily the girl ran to the play park. If it just says the girl ran to the play park, we have no information about the girl's mood or how she's feeling, but happily tells us that, it gives us an image she's probably almost sprinting there. Okay, sarcastically the boss asks for more information. So again, the ly word gives us more information. Okay, so here they are. So here's 4 of them. So if you try to do this in your speech or in your review, again, it's going to up your grades on spelling, punctuation and grammar. Okay, so we look at the sentence starters for this one. Like I say, we don't need you spending hours and hours thinking of a different sentence starter for every single sentence. That's not necessary. All we want to do is show the examiner that we know how to use interesting sentence starters. So you'll see here, I've only done it 3 or 4 times. So with words ending in ly, I've put recently and I've put amazingly. So again, give the sentence more structure, give the sentence more information. With words ending in ing, I've just put offering 4 days of fantastic fun displays, comma, and then for my 2 adjectives, I've just put unmissable and slap bang on the seafront. So again, I'm not hitting the examiner over the head with it, but I've just done it 4 or 5 times to show him and her that I know how to use different sentence starters. And here's all the different ones as well. A lot of the documents you get, for example, in a letter, you can really simply just put firstly, secondly, thirdly, finally. That's going to help you. If you're talking about the same thing, you could say equally, likewise, in the same way. If you're doing a paragraph or a sentence and you had flipped it, what you were talking about, you could put however, whereas, on the other hand, in comparison. Okay, so here's a little slide here that's going to show you all the ways you can start a sentence. Okay, you're also going to get marks in your spelling, punctuation, accent and grammar if you change up your sentence length and different lengths of paragraphs. So if you see here in green, I've got quite a long sentence and then I've got a blue sentence, which is a short sentence. The idea is that you attract attention to your blue sentence. So I've got a really big sentence here where I've put every section of Bournemouth Beach offers a different experience. So why not try one of the many superb water sports or enjoy plenty of attractions at peer approach. Really long sentence. But then I've done a really short sentence with there is a bit on the beach with your name of it. So there I've just drawn attention to the fact that you're almost involved in the beach, that the beach is almost calling you to come. So it brings attention to the sentence that I want it to. Again, I've got a really large sentence when I'm talking about the Air Festival, and then I've just put as a short sentence, don't let this event fly away without seeing it. And in my last paragraph, I put amazingly there are just a few of the attractions in bustling Bournemouth, and then I've put a really short sentence with want more information. So I'm drawing the reader's eyes to that bit, because remember, I want people to visit Bournemouth, so I'm drawing attention to a really short little question, which also brings attention to the last sentence of the article where it says go onto the website or visit today. In the yellow at the top, I've just drawn attention that we're using more advanced punctuation. So I talked about earlier the use of the colon. So let me get straight to the point. Colon, you need to visit Bournemouth today. So that's going to up your grades with spelling and punctuation. So make sure you try to use that colon. Okay, so top tips for an article. Use the correct structure. Use DAFOREST. Create a catchy headline and subheadings. Use interesting sentence starters. Vary the length of your sentences. Use interesting adjectives. Check your there, and theirs. It's really important. To get a C, you need to make sure you're getting your theirs, and theirs correct. And also, you need to make 3 or 4 main points. So in my case, it was Bournemouth Beach, Bournemouth Air Festival, and Bournemouth Oceanarium, not all in one paragraph. So it's really important that you do 1 point per paragraph and not just one big chunk of writing. Okay, that's it on the video on how to write a perfect article. Hopefully it's been some use to you.